Okay, so I want to shoot a video and just kind of explain to everybody, what's been going on. And when people come over, the first thing they always ask is, "Go, what the hell? What's been going on?" Um, so here it is. Back in December, I started noticing that, like, when I would eat, it would get really uncomfortable, right at my solar plexus, and I mean, it got to a point where it just kind of felt like I got punched. So, I knew something was kind of off. So I went in to see the doc, and the doctor says, "Oh, well, it's acid reflux." And I told the doctor, "I don't think it's acid reflux. I've never had any kind of issues like that. I mean, I've been very fortunate in that regard. I mean, I can pretty much throughout my life be able to eat a car tire and not have any problems with it." Um, but doc wasn't having it. So, anyways, told me to take some antacids for it. Uh, didn't help. So about a month later, I came back in again and talked to the doc again, different one this time, and they said, well, yeah, acid reflux. They stood just doubling down on this acid reflux thing, and then prescribed some medication for me, something stronger than what I had tried, and so all right, I went back, did that. Um, didn't help. Went back in again, third time, and I said, "Look, this is not acid reflux." They're still doubling down on it. Even this time, they're saying, "No, it's acid reflux," and tried recommending some other antacids and things. And but I told them, I go, "It's not acid reflux," and I go, "We need to get a scan. We need to get a picture and see what's going on down here." And I explained some, things that I thought it could possibly be. So they reluctantly went ahead and ordered me to go see a gastroenterologist and to do a scan. So I go in, reach out to the gastroenterologist, and the now, mind you, at this point, it was getting pretty bad. I mean, it really felt like I was just getting kicked here. It was really hard for me to eat. By now, I'm getting down to a point to where I'm probably not able to consume more than about 500 calories a day. So that on its own was, creating some issues. Um, so gastroenterologist says, "Okay, yeah, we'll schedule you for an appointment." But that appointment wasn't going to be until, I think it was around like the first part of June. It was, a couple months out at this point. And I said, "Look, this isn't going to work." Um, and I started running into a lot of the healthcare systems at this point. They will tell you this isn't true. It's 100% true. There is a firewall between you and your doctor if you want to call them. You cannot just pick up the phone and call your doctor's office. They run it through this whole long switchboard, and then the doctor will call you back, and you better be ready to answer that phone when they call, or you're not going to get to talk to them again for another week or two. So I finally just went down and walked into their office and says, "Look, I just had a day where I couldn't really even eat or drink water. You want to push me all the way out until, June. That's not going to work, because this was just progressively getting worse." So back and forth with them a bit. They decided that it might be in my best interest to maybe do a sooner appointment than that. So they finally got me in. And I told the doc when I went in, I go, "Look, you're gonna go down there. You're gonna find there's an obstruction there." And he goes, "All right, well, we'll go see." So he goes down, does the scope, comes back. I wake up from the anesthesia, and he says, "Well," he goes, "You were right. There was an obstruction," and he was just went straight to, and I think it's cancer. Sorry about that. And then he was gone. So, and I wasn't super freaked out about that. I wasn't really even completely convinced it was cancer at this point, because you can get, I mean, they missed, it happens. So, anyway, so I wait this out. They did a biopsy at the time, of course. So, I waited that out. And about a week or so later, they came back and they told me, yeah, I have diagnosed me with adenocarcinoma of the lower esophagus. It was, and the type of cancer that this is, it's a very rare form of cancer. Um, and it was spreading very, very fast. So um, I went in. They scheduled me with the oncologist, and he recommended that that I do a specific treatment of chemotherapy. Um, this was after a PET scan. There was a PET scan in there too, so they ran the PET scan, and they could see that it was definitely in the esophagus. It's pushing into one of the glands on adjacent to it, and there was some question about some other hot spots that they saw. So so we had the scans. Recommended the chemo. As fast as this is growing, a lot of people know me. I've had some of my friends and stuff say, "I'm really surprised that you would do the chemo," and I'm not a big fan. I'm not on board with my oncologist with everything that they're saying. However, in this particular instance, this was advancing really, really fast. And alternative things oftentimes take time. So, and I really feel like for me, the best choice was to go ahead and take the hit from the chemo and then figure out how to, when I get my feet underneath me, deal with healing the damage from that and then focus on whatever I need to do to keep it from coming back. So went ahead. We started doing the chemotherapy. Um, Actually started making a difference pretty quickly. Once I get over the feeling crappy from it, I'm finding that it's a lot easier for me to eat. So I'm actually was actually starting to move the scale the other direction. Um, by the time I started the chemo, I had lost about 30 pounds. Um, and my energy level was just unbelievably low. And I'll go over later in some other videos on some other relevant details that I've been going through and how we dealt with them. Uh, so I just got done with round two. Uh, I'm getting ready to do round three. I'm feeling pretty good right now. My energy level is pretty good. I actually was out walking around one of my local parks today. I've got enough energy to do a video, um, and I've had a couple pretty good meals today, so I'm super happy about that. Um, and so right now, where we're at is we're waiting. We're gonna finish. We're gonna go through the third and fourth round of the chemo that I'm doing, and then we're going in for another PET scan. Um, I recently had a biopsy. There was um, the original plan was to go through, uh, knock out the cancer to the best of their ability, and then they wanted to do a surgery and remove a small section of the esophagus and the upper stomach, stitch that together. Probably would have taken the gland adjacent to it and call it good. And they feel like, they said that's moving towards cure, which I have a little problem with even saying that because there is not a cure. That those cancer T cells are going to be alive forever. We'll talk about that later. But that was the plan. So um, it was a lot of hoops for me to jump through. The insurance kept denying me to see the surgeon, um, and so that was a back and forth thing. Took a couple months to get all that straightened out. I finally get to go in and see the surgeon. Surgeon looks at my PET scan and he sees a hot spot in my right lung, and he was he had a pretty good poker face, but I think he was pretty ticked off. They actually used the phrase that they just straight up chose to ignore that hotspot and go ahead with treatment. Um, the problem is that makes it difficult when they do a biopsy on it and try and find out if it, it could come back negative, and it might not actually be a true negative because it's been affected by the chemo. Um, Long story short, that ended up not being the a relevant issue because it did come back positive. So that moves me up to stage 4, um, which I have some mixed feelings about that, and I'll explain that again in some of the other videos. I want to keep these from getting too long. But so that's where I'm at. I'm staged at stage 4. I'm getting the PET scan in early August after I complete my 4th round. And then from there, we're going to move to a different treatment protocol from that. And then I'm working on some other things. For those of you that are a little closer to this, you may know David, the OMD that I work with. He's really been he's been amazing through this, and we definitely have some plans to move forward with this, in some of our own directions. So, and I'm going to keep everybody updated on that. And, so there it is. So that's what's been going on the last few months. I'm, in spite of all this, I feel pretty positive about everything. I mentioned in the other video I did, I mean, I'm so grateful to all the people that have come together around me, the people that have contributed to my GoFundMe. Uh, I got to tell you, it's actually been a little bit overwhelming, how much support that I've had from the people here close to me. So, there's always something good that comes out of everything. So, anyways, that's where I'm at for right now. I'm going to do my best to shoot some more videos and kind of compartmentalize this out and talk about some of the other things that I'm going through, why I made some of the decisions I made, and kind of clue you guys in on a little bit of the things that I'm doing, on my end with this. So until next time, everybody go out, have a great day, and we'll chat soon.